unscripted.
Honestly, I'm not sure what the deal is, but it seems like lately some of the media, maybe especially something like Digital Foundry, seems to have a bit of an axe to grind with Sony and the PlayStation 5, and it is a little bit weird because I'm not really a type of person who believes much in like conspiracy theories or a situation where the media would be completely biased. Now, I do think obviously there can be things like favoritism and things like that, and that affected Xbox very much early on last generation, and that really kind of didn't help matters that Microsoft was out there trying to basically take every gamer right ever had. So yeah, it is a weird sort of situation that we see that came along with that. And now we see, for some reason, even though the PlayStation 5 seems to be doing really well and gamers seem to be really happy with it, yet we keep seeing these bad things come up, like this bit of news we're going to talk about here today. And it's just something that I kind of look at and I go, man, what are we doing? You know, what are we thinking as gamers here? You know what? Why is this such a thing? It's like every little thing that people can think of to point to as a negative factor for Xbox or PlayStation gets implemented, and really, this is one of those things where I personally just maybe get a little bit tired of it. You know, like, you know, the things that it reminds me of last generation. And just real quick, I want to talk about a story because everybody knows I was a huge Xbox fan last generation. And you know what? I still like Xbox. I think Xbox Series X is a fantastic console. It just lacks the games. It lacks the content. And, you know, when they get that fixed, they'll be ready to go. And will they ever be where Sony is? Will they ever be able to match what Sony can do? Now, that's something that, you know, that's a bit of a question of its own. Probably not. They probably won't be able to match what Sony can do, but you know, that doesn't mean that they can't have a successful console and a great console of their own. And you know, I think that they will have that, and I think that they're going to be able to have that. But if you go back to last generation, there were always these sort of weird situations where, you know, we would see different things from Digital Foundry that didn't make any sense. Like they would talk about the grass in Grand Theft Auto 5, because what happens was, when you couldn't get a proper situation where there was a winner in resolution, which sometimes there wasn't, like Microsoft really did have, you know, some people go out and show others how to kind of get the most out of the resolution out of the Xbox One, out of that box. But the problem was that there would be concessions to be able to do it. So even though Grand Theft Auto 5 would be 1080p on both Xbox One and PlayStation 4, you would have a situation where there would be more foliage on the PlayStation 4 version. But at that point, I thought the wheels came off a little bit, right? Because originally I thought that was some kind of like, you know, joke post or something like that. We're talking about grass. You know, people called it Grassgate. Like, I mean, seriously, this is what we've gotten to at this particular point, right? Where we're talking about grass, and now we're talking about these other things. But, you know, I wanted to talk about this, no matter how ridiculous it is. I just thought it was worthwhile, kind of just covering. And, you know, obviously PlayStation fans aren't happy about this. It's kind of clear that there might be a little bit of an axe to grind for some reason. And, you know, we'll have to talk about it and see what happens. Let's get started, however. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews. That's right. Back with another video. Thank you very much for checking it out. I really do appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It helps out the channel, and it means a lot to me personally. If you're looking for a way to help out a crappy little dying channel like mine, the best way to do it is a simple like. It helps out tremendously, and it means a lot to me personally. You know, a like, you can share it out. You can, you know, hit the bell so you're notified of all the content as soon as it drops. All that stuff, just very much appreciated, and I think you guys are amazing, and you know, I just want to say thank you. So shout out to all the old subscribers, new subscribers, and everybody in between. You guys have been nothing short of amazing as well, and I just wanted to give you guys a shout out and say thank you. It has gone noticed, and you guys are all appreciated. So thank you guys very much. And so let's go, huh? We got to get this started because I know a lot of people are going to want to be talking about this. And I found it to be very interesting myself. So, according to this report, the PS5 is reportedly unable to correctly reproduce standard def or SDR content, which results in Black Crush issues. So, according to this, and I will link this, of course, so you guys can check it out, if you're among those few million gamers that managed to snatch a PlayStation 5 console so far, you'll probably have noticed by now that Sony's latest gaming system outputs by default everything in HDR or high dynamic range. Standard dynamic range content included. However, it appears that even if you turn off HDR in order to properly play older titles that do not support HDR displays or SDR reproduction is off. Alexander Pataglia of Digital Foundry explained this in a couple of tweets today. He says, the PlayStation 5 is actually not displaying original SDR content correctly, unfortunately. Does it with backwards compatibility titles for sure. Could lead to Black Crush or other changes in reproducing the game's color or tone. It is not as dramatic as limited versus full issues shown in the quoted tweet, but if you capture SDR on PlayStation 4 Pro and compare it to SDR on PS5 of that same game, there are differences which can be negative. Now, his colleague John Litterman actually agreed to this, later adding that all of the game captures made by Digital Foundry and SDR have had problems with Black Crush compared to other platforms. Yeah, it's been a real issue for us. That said, in this case, it's likely a full limited RGB issue, as PS5 typically crushes darker shades rather than increases the black floor. The PS5 does not properly display SDR. If we capture the same game from all PS4s and Xbox systems using the same settings, blacks are crushed on PS5 and SDR. I'm convinced SDR output is broken. SDR in HDR container is better here. SDR just doesn't seem to be quite right. All of our display captures from the PlayStation 5 and SDR are slightly crushed compared to all other machines. But if your display does a poor job with HDR, it might still look better in SDR. Hopefully Sony can obviously produce a fix for this outstanding PlayStation 5 issue. While HDR content is the future, there's no reason why reproducing old SDR content should be a problem for the console. So I found this to be a little bit interesting because I've never noticed it before. You know, it's one of those things where I'm kind of shaking my head. Like, I've played, I booted up some backwards compatible stuff that wasn't HDR, and I haven't really noticed anything. And I have an LG CX OLED, so it kind of took me a little bit by surprise that there was any kind of issues to be seen there, and just kind of leaves me a little bit shocked, to say the least, because I felt like it was just a situation where, it's something that gamers in general, maybe haven't really seen that much of recently. So yeah, it is a little bit kind of weird, to say the least, that this is happening. But I also kind of want to point out that I feel like when it comes to what Sony is doing, they've done a really good job with the PlayStation 5. It's just that we don't have the we have a situation like this where there can be like some small problems and things like that. And it does seem like a little bit, in my opinion anyway, that it's quite obvious that maybe this Anthony guy could potentially have some kind of axe to grind with Sony, or maybe even Sony fans, because unfortunately I did see some PlayStation fans kind of going back and forth with him, and I felt like that, maybe that kind of ticks him off or whatever, and to the point where he goes out there and tries to intentionally find things, because this is honestly the first I've heard of this, and it is a little bit weird, to say the least. But I also think that it is something that obviously definitely could be true. I'm not saying that I don't believe it. I'm saying that it's just a little bit weird that we've kind of seen something like this happen, just out of the blue like this. And this comes off the heels of kind of him arguing with some PlayStation fans on Twitter. And I just found that to be a little bit interesting, to say the least. And again, I'm not saying that, he's full of it or anything like that, or anybody should do anything or say anything. I'm just saying I find the timing to be a little conspicuous, just with everything that we've seen so far with some of the back and forth that he's had with PlayStation fans. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I haven't noticed, but maybe I'll check out some older SDR titles via backwards compatibility and see what I can find out for myself, because I think that that's going to be the best way that I can kind of view and give a kind of an unbiased idea on what's going on. So with that being said, very interesting stuff, and I would absolutely be thrilled to hear your guys' take and thoughts and input on this, because obviously that's super important, and I just would very much appreciate it. And I think you guys are awesome. Thank you guys for bearing with the channel as we go through some changes and things like that. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Stay safe, happy, and healthy. Take care of each other and have a good time gaming. There is some good games out there, and hopefully you guys find them and have a good time with that. Thank you for watching. Please have a fantastic day. Rack 'em up. Game on, my friends. Game on. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.